friend. How are you? How's your day? I have a question for you. When you hear the sound of your own voice, what do you think? How do you feel? How do you react to the sound of your voice? In today's Nings Tings episode, we're going to talk about your voice. And by the end of it, I hope you might consider the idea that your voice is magical. Don't believe me? Keep listening. Welcome to Nings Tings. This show is for the love of voice. So, I want to ask the questions one more time and let you really think about it. When you hear the sound of your own voice, what do you think? How do you feel? How do you react to the sound of your voice? So, just about everyone I've asked this question has said, with scrunched up shoulders, a crinkled nose, tightly closed eyes, and they go, ugh, I hate the sound of my voice, or I don't like hearing the sound of my voice. And it's crazy how we think this. You know, I even very much thought this years ago when people would ask me, what do you think of the sound of your voice? I'm like, oh, God, no. Really, the whole point of today's episode is to think about how your voice is magical. The way your voice works, what you can do with it, it is magical. And when you watch little kids who don't even really think about it, they kind of know, right? Like when they discover that they can sing and imitate sounds, there is this whole wonderment and discovery and excitement, and like little kids are loud about it sometimes. And I want us to go back to thinking about that discovery and that magic about our voices. The world is hard, and the world tries to tell us not to use our voices. The world tries to tell us not to be loud, not to sing loud, and all these things. Well, the talking loud, sometimes that could be a little bit crazy, especially in public places. I know y'all feel me on this one, right? But I'm talking about having fun with your voice, being a kid again, and really sinking into the magic of our voices versus being judgmental and critical of our voices. So really the main points I want to say here is how do we know it's magical? I know you know it's magical.
I know.
Because you've been to live shows or you watch The Voice or America's Got Talent. And I watch people cry. I cry a lot at these shows. Like I find myself ugly crying at these shows. I ugly cry at live shows. I mean, I was at a live show recently of Emily King, and my God, I think I'm going to start crying right now. I dropped to my knees at some point in the live show because I just was so overcome. It's magic. Your voice is magic, and that's something that took me a long time to even think about, period, and think about for myself. Whew. That's been a total journey. But so we know that it's magical when we feel it. And why? So let's talk about the why. Your essence, your identity, your energy is coming out through your voice, and you are able to connect with people when you speak and if you sing. So that's what's happening when we're watching a live show or we listen to a performance. Their essence, their identity, their energy, their power is connecting to us. And that is such a magical connection. It's why suddenly we feel so close to the beloved singers we watch and adore. I mean, for the last how many weeks, I have heard people go on and on about Beyonce and Taylor Swift. And it's wonderful. It's so wonderful to hear people be so happy, to hear these voices, to see these live performances. So I think that's magical. But I also think just the physiology of it all, how your voice is magical because of all the things that are happening within your body. Your head, your mouth is a speaker. Just like you hear music through a speaker, you're a speaker. And you are able to broadcast out your voice. Oxygen and, your vocal cords are vibrating in order to create sound. That is so awesome. That's freaking sick. Like, you're a speaker, right? Everywhere you go, you can broadcast music or wonderful, loving words or poetry or, rap. I mean, God, it's endless. And so that is it. We are instruments. We are musical instruments. Whether you think that or not, or maybe that's the first time you've ever heard that, I think about it all the time. I walk the streets of San Francisco and behind me, I'll hear voices and I'll hear the notes and I'll hear pronunciation and articulation and I'll hear beautiful different accents. It's a symphony. It's a symphony. And when you think about the voices that are around you, there's so much beauty in that. There's so much magic in that. I mean, I could go on about this forever and I won't for today, but I think you get my point that you have a musical instrument with you wherever you go. You have a sound system wherever you go. You're a speaker. You have your own microphone. It's freaking fantastic. And the last thing I want to say about the magicalness of your voice is, God, we remember what it was to play like a kid, to use our voice like a kid and sing like a kid. Like, you see kids all the time not caring at all, like giving no F's about using their voices, singing, doing a little see a kid walking down the street and they're like, doop, 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 like not a care in the world. And somehow, over time we've learned not to do that because, I don't know, for fear of looking weird or sounding weird. And I just want to say, if you want to express yourself and play, particularly in your own house, why the heck not? Start there. Start there. Let's play. Crazy. I'm sure there's lots of you at home that y'all have, funny voices you play with and things you do.
Don't lie.
And we all sort of keep that to ourselves or keep that to only the people that know us. And I just wonder if we used even just a little bit of that out in the world, just a little bit, how much more joy you would feel and people would feel if you shared more of that. Joy. Look, I'm in the same place. I have been so locked up for a long time and was just scared to share real sides of me. And that's what this podcast is about. It's about the love of voice and wanting to share and wanting you to share. And I swear, if you follow my Ningstings Instagram and you want to send me a voice note, a voice text in there, please send me. It's my favorite thing to receive. Just anything. Singing a little tune, humming, anything. I just think it's awesome. It is a magical, magical thing. That really is my biggest point of just today's episode. For you to spend this week with the idea of listening to voices, listening to your voice with a sense of awe and wonder, with a sense of magic. Remember being 5 years old and how magical things really were for you, hearing voices and hearing singing. We absolutely can be that again at any moment in our lives. Use our voices in a way that really expresses the magicalness of who you are. To listen to ourselves with more openness and kindness and self-acceptance, and really to sink into this magic. Then the other thing I would love for you to think about this week is, of the voices that you love out in the world, why do you find them magical? What is it about that voice? What is it about their stories or what they tell or how they sing to you? Because that can really sort of explain maybe what you see in yourself, that you have that magic also, and maybe you're just sort of locking it away and hiding it away from people. I would love if you spent the week, thinking about yourself being magical, thinking about your voice being magical, and just starting there. We'll get into more stuff in future episodes, but yes, reach out to me, write a comment in my Instagram, or send me a voice text. If you discover something magical this week in your voice or other voices, I'd really love to hear about it. Okay, until next time, this is Ningstings for the love of voice. Ooh, let's play like we're 5 years old, y'all.
What did you sing? Do you remember something you sang when you were 5? I don't, but you can make it up. Okay, bye.